Thank you. I want to introduce here some data sharing tool we prepared at the Czech National Geoportal. This slide describes the data sharing situation which is in the Czech Republic now. Each data provider keeps their license policy even if they are decided to stick to one of the model of INSPIRE license, basic or specific. So European bodies and institutions are supposed to contact data providers directly. Now, the national contact point initiated a data sharing working group as a working group under the INSPIRE National Coordinating Committee, and this working group is supposed to find a solution based on the data sharing guidance documents. This working group started to meet in 2011, but after a year of work there has been no significant progress in data sharing. That's why we tried to develop a tool that could facilitate the data sharing process before the arrangements among the data providers will be made. An e-shop has been developed as a functionality of the Czech National Geoportal to help the data providers and users facilitate the data sharing process. At the beginning, some definitions we used in the e-shop. Why only registered users and providers? The system needs the contact details for the license generated automatically during the process of buying data or products. We use the term product because not only data can be bought in the e-shop, so everything presented in the e-shop is called generally products. However, usually it's data. The products can be zip data that are stored directly in the data warehouse on the Geoportal. Then data to be delivered, it's usually data of the large volume that have to be delivered via mail, on CDs, DVDs and so on. Services, we prepared this type of product, but we had some technical issues, so it will be implemented later. And links to other e-shops. It's a kind of promotion for those data providers who already have their own e-shops. So how to make a product? The data provider has to be logged on the Geoportal, and in e-shop he has to create a new product and fill some basic information about the product. Then there's some basic description of the product, such as name of the product and price and so on. Then the user inserts category of the product and license. It can be his own license or a model license prepared on the Geoportal. We started with Czech and English version of INSPIRE basic license, but more license can be prepared. These three attributes of the product are mandatory, and the following are voluntary. You can match the metadata to the product for better identification of the data. You can upload images and insert some more detailed information about the product. Then the product is presented in a gallery where it's accessible to user without registration to see the data. If you want to buy or download the data, you have to be registered. So far, regular eShop has been described, so where's the data sharing? There's one more attribute that hasn't been mentioned yet, and it's a visibility of the product. Setting a visibility of a product for a particular user ensures that only this user can access the data set. Using the visibility, the provider can choose who will see the product. There are 3 different ways how to define the users. It can be one specific user or some group of users defined via the email domain, or selecting a group of the register from the register of users on Geoportal. Then the product is presented in a gallery by ticking the checkbox display only non-public products. The non-public products is displayed only to the registered user who is in product visibility list. The easiest way how to support a smooth data sharing process is to display data only to certain users with a click license and free of charge. The provider can be sure that only the user he defined will access his data. There is still possibility of approved click license or written license for the skeptic data providers, but they must be sure that they will not delay the data sharing process, especially in emergency cases. If the data provider chooses the way with a click license and free of charge, the data sharing will be very easy, safe and fast. We hope that this access can support the data providers to share the data with EU institutions and other member states in regular and in emergency situations. And here's some conclusions about our tool. The development of the data sharing tool has taken more than a year of analyzing, programming and testing, and in the next few days we will release it to the public. But it's still less time that we need to create a national agreement or more agreements. After a year of working on the national agreements, we are still far from any national agreement. This data sharing tool is very general, so that it can be used for data sharing between any institutions at any level. But all these institutions has to be registered on the Geoportal. That's all for me. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the audience by now? Yes, there we have a question. Can we have the microphone, please?
Thank you for your presentation. You said you were going to extend it, I think, to services from December this year. I wondered how much more development you would have to do to be able to use it as an e-shop for services.
They are already prepared, but the system of how to reach the services has to be finished. We have problem with time, how long you can access the services, how to set up the limits in the system, that's all.
Any other question? No?